DFM Data Corporation's platform is essentially the implementation of several of the ISO standards that Peter just showed you. What we do is we take the TUID and we connect shipping exchanges using the ISO format. We have a system called the Anonymizer, which cleans phantom data from shipping exchanges, all the while protecting proprietary customer information. So one shipping exchange never sees any data that they don't want shared. For each shipping exchange that participates in our system, we're now a registrar for ECMA. We are authorized to obtain and register SmartPrefixes, subprefixes, ALEIs, NLIs for all of our customers. All of those elements combine along with the date format to allow the TUID to function. And this is all laid out in the ISO 8000 series of standards, so it's completely compliant. Next slide, please. And here I think I'm going to let Andrew explain the TUID.
Thank you, John and Peter. The TUID represents the usage and integration of what Peter referred to as the who, what, when, and where. In other words, creating a global identification for a transport unit or a load that needs to be moved, where we take a number of those ISO standards and put them together along with other information and create a global way of identifying the load that is being moved. And so as you can see in this reference chart, the TUID contains the date, the ISO 8601 date format, along with the NLI formats for both origin and destination, along with the company and purchase order number. So the who, what, when, and where are all integrated into this global identifier. And that also brings with it a status of where that load is or where that transport unit is at that particular time, whether it's booked, whether it's posted, whether it's en route, or whether it's been delivered. Those are the statuses in the GMP status code. So that's what the transport unit identifier is specifically. Next slide, please. On this slide, what you see is how data is moved through the marketplace and through the silos from the manufacturers, as those orders are then both shipped either directly or indirectly through brokers or digital freight marketplaces. And so as you see those loads move through, they're assigned identification numbers either by those brokers or by those digital marketplaces. And those identification numbers that are assigned are while unique to that particular broker or digital marketplace, not necessarily unique to the others, as well as the fact that if a manufacturer is using multiple digital freight marketplaces or multiple brokers, you will see that traffic listed multiple times, which then creates phantom data in the system. And it becomes nearly impossible to know what the status of that load is, whether or not it's covered, and where that load is. Next slide, please. So in this slide, what you see is a very similar slide, except you see the transport orders with the TUID and our anonymizer, which essentially takes the identification of that load from the manufacturer, from the point at which it is shipped. It then anonymizes the data that vendor wants to anonymize. So what it doesn't want to be seen through transit will be anonymized, and only the data that's required to move it will be in that datagram. And that will be assigned and will move through the digital freight marketplaces and the brokers with that identifier. So there's a global identification as that load moves through booking to in transit to delivered. And you can see the TUID status has changed as we move through the slide here from 20 to 40 to 50 as the load transits the marketplace. So in this case, what happens is the system itself notifies all of the members who are participating as those loads, as those transport units move through the system, and they can then understand their status and remove them from the marketplace when they get to the point where they're delivered, eliminating the phantom data from the process.